Welcome to Turkistan TV News. She says improper handling of Taiwan issues will hit China and United States ties. Reuters News. Chinese President Xi Jinping told his United States counterpart Joe Biden on Friday that the Taiwan issue needs to be handled properly to avoid a negative impact on Sino-US relations, according to Chinese media. China says Taiwan, which it views as a breakaway province to be brought back to the fold by force if necessary, is the most sensitive and important issue in its relations with the United States. Washington, which is seeking Beijing's help in restoring peace in Ukraine after Russia's February 24 invasion, has no formal diplomatic ties with Taipei, but is Taiwan's most important international backer and arms supplier. Some individuals in the United States are sending the wrong signals to pro-independence forces in Taiwan, and that's very dangerous, she told Biden on a video call. If the Taiwan issue is not handled properly, it will have a subversive impact on the relationship between the two countries. China sailed its aircraft carrier Shandong through the Taiwan Strait, shadowed by the United States destroyer on Friday. A source with direct knowledge of the matter told Reuters, just hours before the Chinese and United States presidents were due to talk. A White House statement said Biden reiterated in the call with Xi that the United States policy on Taiwan has not changed, and emphasized that Washington continues to oppose any unilateral change to the status quo. A White House statement said Biden reiterated in its call with Xi that the United States policy on Taiwan has not changed, and emphasized that Washington continues to oppose any unilateral change to the status quo. China has over the past 2 years stepped up its military activity near the island to assert its sovereignty claims. We hope the United States side will pay adequate attention to the issue, she told Biden. Taiwan's foreign minister expressed thanks to Biden for his emphasis on maintaining the status quo of peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait, as well as his firm support for Taiwan's security. It called China to take concrete actions and condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Taiwan, which rejects China's sovereignty claims, has joined in Western-led sanctions against Russia and sent humanitarian aid for Ukraine refugees. She also told Biden that the war in Ukraine must end as soon as possible, according to Chinese state media. All parties should jointly support the Russia-Ukraine dialogue, while the United States and NATO should also conduct talks with Russia to solve the crux of the Ukraine crisis, she said. The Turkistan Government-in-Exile made a comment on Biden and Xi phone call. It says, "We are deeply concerned that the United States will cave to China's demands regarding Taiwan, Tibet, and East Turkestan. We urge the United States to refrain from any deals that will allow China to boost its ongoing genocide in East Turkestan and threats against Taiwan." Chinese official called sanctions on Russia increasingly outrageous. Reuters News. A senior Chinese government official said on Saturday that sanctions imposed by Western nations on Russia or Ukraine are increasingly outrageous. Vice Foreign Minister Liu Cheng also acknowledged Moscow's point of view on NATO, saying the alliance should not further expand eastwards, forcing a nuclear power like Russia into a corner. China has yet to condemn Russia's action in Ukraine or call it an invasion, though it has expressed deep concern about the war. Beijing has also opposed economic sanctions on Russia over Ukraine, which it says are unilateral and are not authorized by the United Nations Security Council. The sanctions against Russia are getting more and more outrageous, Liu said at a security forum in Beijing, adding that Russian citizens were being deprived of overseas assets for no reason. History has proven time and again that sanctions cannot solve problems. Sanctions will only harm ordinary people, impact the economic and financial system, and worsen the global economy. Russia calls its actions in Ukraine as a special operation, that it says it's not designed to occupy the territory, but to destroy its neighbors' military capabilities, and to capture what it regards as dangerous nationalists. In a call on Friday between Joe Biden and Xi Jinping, the United States president warned his Chinese counterpart of consequences if Beijing gave material support to Russia's attack, the White House said. Moscow has demanded legally binding guarantees from NATO that it will stop its expansion and return to its 1997 borders. The pursuit of absolute security by NATO precisely leads to absolute non-security, Lowe said. The consequences of forcing a major power, especially on nuclear power, into a corner are even more unimaginable. President Volodymyr Zelensky said this week that the Ukraine could accept international security guarantees that stopped short of its long-standing aim to join NATO. Salih Hudayar, the Prime Minister of his Turkistan Government-in-Exile, tweeted that, "Looks like the Biden-Xi meeting isn't going to deter China from supporting Russia. The United States needs to stop belittling itself by begging China for help. Instead, it needs to take the same exact course of actions that it took on Russia and punish China." Iltaber from his Turkistan TV News reported.